The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
Yadua, the Rosh HaYeshiva of the Yeshiva of Radin, his name was the great Reb Naftali Trupp. In Yeshiva world, he's known as the Granat. Anyone who learned a little bit Bamitzia, Nizikin, you know the Granat well. His Sfarim are magnificent. He was so brilliant and so deep. He was very young, and he had terrible migraines, and he was at the brink of passing away. And the Bachurim in the Yeshiva decided they got to do something for the life of the Granat. So they came into the Yeshiva of Radin, and they made an appeal. But not an appeal for money, an appeal for time, an appeal for life. And they actually went around the room donating days, weeks, months to the life of the Rosh HaYeshiva. Could you believe that? Could you imagine such a scene? That the Bachurim in the Yeshiva are actually donating time, life, days, weeks, months. One Bachur donated a month of his life, another one a week, another one a few days. They went around the room and collectively they collected a few years of life. And at that moment they decided, after they gave the bang on the bima, that it is now official, they all agreed to give over a certain amount of time for the life of the Rosh HaYeshiva. But there was still one person that they felt they missed. So the Yeshiva all went over to the house of none other than the Chafetz Chaim. And they came to the Gadol Ador. And they knocked on the door of the Chafetz Chaim, and they all came in together. And they let the Chafetz Chaim know. He was known as the Zaken. They let the Zaken know that they just made an appeal for life, for time, for the life of the Rosh HaYeshiva, Reb Naftali Trupp, the Granat. And they turned to the Chafetz Chaim. And they said, Harav, some boys donated a month, some a week, some days. What do you donate? What would you like to give to the life of Reb Naftali? At that time, the Chafetz Chaim was already in his 80s. The Chafetz Chaim closes his eyes and he begins to think, how much is he going to donate? And he turns back to the boys and he says, I'm going to donate 1 minute. They looked at the Chafetz Chaim, said, 1 minute? He said, this guy a month, this guy weeks, days, 1 minute. Chafetz Chaim saw on their faces that they were bewildered, taken back by his donation. So he looked at them and he explained, he said, do you know what I can do with 1 minute? We don't know what's the worth or what's the potential of 1 moment. Says the Chafetz Chaim, if you would know what I can do with 1 moment, you would understand what I just gave away. The amazing end of the story was that somebody in the yeshiva made a calculation. Just like when you make a calculation of a money and appeal, they made it a calculation of the time appeal, of days and months, and it came out to a certain amount of years. And Reb Naftali lived exactly to the number of what was collected, including the moment of the Chafetz Chaim. Amazing. 1 minute, 1 moment. What someone great who appreciates time can do and accomplish in 1 minute.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org